Hey everybody, Jamie from the Rain Doctor's YouTube channel, and the other day I got hurt. Yep. As careful as I am around here, I should have known better. I should have expected it was going to happen, but we're so careful around here. We just, we got our protocols, so on and so forth, that an accident, it's an accident. But I got hurt. So this boat came in, and it was having all kinds of issues, which we eventually did figure out was related to some electrical issues as well as water in the guy's fuel. But it was exhibiting a whole bunch of different symptoms, and we were doing cylinder drop tests on it. So if you're familiar with those, or if you're not familiar with those, it's you shut the engine off, you disconnect the spark plug lead, you restart the engine to see if it makes a difference. If it doesn't make a difference, that's the problem cylinder. So we were trying to isolate which cylinder was causing the issues that this boat was having. And unfortunately, it was multiple cylinders. So we'd gone ahead and we replaced one of the ignition coils and we got it to work properly. And the engine was still kind of running poorly. Given that it had bad gas in it with water in it, was one thing, but there was more stuff going on. We had a cylinder number 3, I believe, that we eventually found out was cutting in and out, so it wouldn't stay sparking, right? So we were doing our cylinder drop tests, and the water muffs had fallen off the engine. So I stumbled to the back to put them back on. So we got the water muffs, put them back on. Obviously they're not here, but that's the gear case. Put them back on. I went back up to the front, and we were again testing that cylinder number 3, so we disconnected the lead. I reached across like this in here to turn the key. Now I turned the key and I could feel the shock or the electricity running up my right arm. That's not the bad thing. I've had that happen tons where, when I was younger, you just get too close, you get too cocky, and you use a screwdriver or something to pull a spark plug lead off instead of shutting it off, and you get zapped. That's not too bad. You feel it in your arm. The problem with this is my hand was wet from putting the water muffs on. My shoes were wet, and I was standing on the trailer, which may or may not have made a difference, but my chest was against this. So the electricity went through my arm, through my chest, back into the tray, or into the boat. So that was probably a good 3 or 4 days before my chest started feeling okay. Now people are saying, well, why would that hurt? And if you've ever used a TENS machine, so Dr. Ho's TENS machine, for example, is a gizmo that you hook up to your body, and it puts tiny little currents into your muscles, and it makes your muscles flex for you, for basic terms, flex, right? Now, take your arm and do a bicep curl or bicep pose, for example, and do it as hard as you can, and then hold it there, okay? That doesn't hurt as much as the electricity doing it for you, because the electricity fires all of those nerve endings and makes that muscle flex as hard as it can, and even harder than it can. So we can never flex, or we can never lift as much as we actually can until we can. If you understand what I'm saying? So take those muscles, and those muscles flexing as hard as they can as my chest is into that boat. Anyway, that stung a bit. I ended up, I didn't end up on my arse on the ground, but it did end up on the ground. And I'm just happy that I wasn't on a higher trailer either, because then it probably would have rolled an ankle or something too. But I guess it's one of those moments where I'm going to be a little more certain of what I'm doing. I'm going to dry my hands off, and I'm not grabbing one of those ignition keys until such time as, I guess I should have done it right. I should have climbed in the boat, is what I should have done. But, time constraints and whatever, we want to get stuff done around here. Sometimes you just can't. Or, I guess we should have, but I can't. Anyway, that's my video for today. And, still got Rick's boat here. Rick, come get your boat. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys. Oh, actually, you know what? if you guys have a story about that happening to you, I can even recall one more. I'll take a quick second here and I'll tell you guys one more. I remember working with my dad. We were in the shop, and he was working on an old 33 Johnson. I was up at the front, and he was leaning across, and he had his hand on the back side of the engine, and he had his left hand over on the front, and he was adjusting the high-speed jet, and he says, "Open it up, son." So I dumped the throttle on this thing, and it blows the bottom spark plug out, and it lands on his arm. So this thing's going full throttle, spark plug lands on his arm, zaps the hell out of him. Well, me being young, what did I think? I thought it was really funny. But no, knowing what I know now about how much that actually hurts, it's not funny. It's funny later, but it's not funny when it happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.